Aloha, blessings. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to share how I create an altar and the reasons why it's important to have an altar, a dedicated altar, and just some of the things, the elements that I like to incorporate into an altar. So for those that are new to my channel, my name is Aria. I am an ordained Magdalene priestess, a Reiki master, energy, and a sound healer. And I work with energy to support the well-being, the clearing, the purification, the activation of your mind, body, and spirit. Particularly during these times, it is very, very important for us to really be aware of how our energy is, really understand our energy, because fundamentally we are energetic beings. The more that we understand that we are infinite consciousness, the more that we can create unity, harmony, peace, love into our everyday existence. And when we cultivate these attributes, we actually experience more abundance, more ease, more flow. We understand and are able to receive the information from our higher self, from our soul, from the higher ascended masters, light beings. There are a host of other dimensional beings that are light beings that we work with to support us in our expansion. We all have a team of spirit guides. We all have a team of angels that support us and guide us. Now, if they do not interfere, so let's take that into that accounting. They do not interfere, and they don't persuade us one way or the other. What they do is they guide us and they support us. They are there to really, in a sense, provide their wisdom, the wisdom of the lifetimes that they have lived or the experiences they have had as they themselves went on their own ascension journey. So it is beautiful to be able to connect. And how do we connect? We connect through prayer, through dance, through a dedicated, intentional act. Now it can be you set an intention for ease and peace and flow and for healing, and your meditation is walking in nature. It could be it's walking along the beach. It could be you're going to drum, you're going to sing, you're going to chant, you're going to dance, you're going to paint. All of these are, you're going to meditate, you're going to listen to a sound healing, you're going to take a course that expands your awareness. All of these are ways that we human beings devote ourselves and bring ourselves into deeper alignment with the divine, with our true essence, with our soul. So what is an altar? An altar is a dedicated space that we consecrate, that we make sacred to remind us of our own higher self, of our oneness, that we activate and continue to activate every single time that we engage in meditation, in prayer, in any act of devotion that we choose to utilize to move us forward. So even yoga can be a form of devotion. Now, there are different elements and different people have different ways of consecrating an altar, of creating an altar. I have a variety of altars around my house, and altars are important for humans because they remind us of ritual, of being intentional, of devoting ourselves to something that is higher than the ego. They are a form of prayer. They are incorporated into our prayer systems. And there are many cultures that create different altars, and each of them is aligned with different directions. So how do I say this? The directions that I will be using are those that are aligned with the Aramaic spirituality, with the Middle Eastern mystic teachings that I am a priestess of, that I am aligned to. So it is the lineage of Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, and not in the Christian or Judaic sense, because we all know that Yeshua was a Jew, and so was Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary. It is more of the mystical, esoteric teachings that they actually were a part of, because they were a part of the wisdom traditions. They were a part of the Chokhmah, and they revered the Shekhinah and Asherah. So these are elements that I incorporate into my altar building. And I find that because I work with Aramaic and I work with light language and celestial healing energies, the Essenes and the Cathars are part of this lineage. Because I work with these frequencies, this altar works very well for me. You may choose to work with an altar that is in alignment with the Native American traditions. Now, I only recommend that if your lineage is Native American. I encourage you to please find the lineage that corresponds to your physical lineage, your biological lineage first, your cultural lineage first, before you play with other lineages. There's a reason I say this, and I really go into depth about this in my podcast episode on lineage and lineage healing. I will link that in the notes for this, because it's really important before we begin to co-opt and align with traditions that are not our own. And I'm going to say it this way, because this is the information I'm receiving. Your physical lineage is the lineage that you came here to work with primarily. Until you evolve enough, it's not really enough, until you evolve to a point where you have integrated and healed those aspects of your lineage, then the ancestors, because our ancestors are with us, and they sometimes don't like it when we take on lineages that are not our own. And when we take on lineages that are not our own, what we're doing is we're muddling and we're impeding with the healing that is supposed to happen within our own lineage. And your own lineage is what needs to be healed first. It's what needs to be activated. It's what needs to be integrated first, because there's a reason why you chose to incarnate in your physical body, into the family that you chose to incarnate with. So there are reasons that your soul chose to engage in those contracts with before you were physical. So that's why, please, I encourage you, don't use other traditions. Don't take Native American traditions simply because that's what's in. Or like if you are of the Celtic Anglo lineage, look into the Celtic Druidic practices. If you are Greek, look into those Greek practices. If you are Middle Eastern, look into those practices, etc. If you are Native American, heavy lineage from the South American lineages, please look into that. Don't look into the Mexican lineages if you're not Mexican. Don't look into the Native American, Hopi, Navajo lineages if you are not of that lineage. I cannot stress this enough. Also, reminder, please do not use sacred plants from lineages that are not yours. The white sage, Salvia Apiana, very in. Also incredibly endangered and native to the southwestern United States. Don't use it if that is not your lineage. If you do not physically come from that lineage, please do your best to honor and revere that plant spirit, because plants have spirits. Same thing with Palo Santo. Palo Santo is South American. I'm gonna actually quote specifically as to where it is from. Copal, Mexican. So again, unless you have those lineages, please do not use them, because the ancestors do get upset, and the land does have spirits that are guardians of that land, and they get upset. And then you basically start getting in beefs energetically with nature spirits, and you don't want that. One of my teachers actually had to go back to the places where she took cuttings or rocks from and give back to those nature spirits, because they were really upset that she took the stuff. And even when we ask for permission, sometimes we may think we get a yes, but our lineage isn't really in alignment with that. So be very, very cautious, not to be fearful, but it's more of a respect. Let's cultivate respect for the lands that we are on, for the lineages that are not ours physically. And then once we integrate our own lineage, then we evolve and we go into what else aligns. Okay? This altar is going to be dedicated to the summer solstice. And so you can have altars for the new moon, the full moon. Those are kind of easier to you can swap out a few elements. So I'm going to create a foundational altar that I'm going to theme towards the summer solstice. You can swap out different crystals to activate different energies for the new moon, the full moon. You can add. What I'm doing is by no means the only thing you should be doing. It's simply the way that I have been taught, the way that I have integrated, what I have come into contact with, and what resonates with my soul and the work that I do. So it is incredibly important to be very mindful and listen to your intuition. And if you don't have a clear connection to your intuition, we first develop that intuition. We are going to get started. So the first thing I like to do is, because like I told you, I'm not going to go back. I do have white sage that I have cultivated myself. I do have Palo Santo that I think I've bought ethically. But I only use those when I'm in ceremony. And I'm very, very mindful, and I give thanks to the plant spirits. So this is incense. And you can use an incense that smells good to you. Frankincense and myrrh are kind of universal purifiers and aligners with the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Also, I do want to say, if you would like to get a video, have me do a video on other themes of altars, you can do them for wisdom, for love, for healing, for expansion, for abundance, for manifestation. You can basically have at it and have your own different kind of altars all around your house, which is what I have. But again, start small. If altars are new to you, definitely start with this and with a more basic kind of a more basic setup. And then as you grow, you just expand, which is what we do. So start by clearing the space. And you can clear using incense, using plants like rosemary and lavender. You can even clear with sage, but culinary sage is the sage I'm talking about. You can clear with sound. You can clear with a hydrosol made of roses. There are many, many ways to clear, and if you would like to have me do a video on how to clear, please also comment below. A lot of wisdom in my head, and I do not want to overwhelm you. So the first thing we're doing is we're starting, because it is, actually I should probably, okay. So didn't realize this was so wrinkled. So because it's a summer solstice, I'm going to use the golden side of this, and after we're done, I'm going to actually iron this. So your altar wants to be clean and neat and pristine, because again, this is the physical representation of your devotional practice. So we want to clean it. I would clean it with the new moon, and or right before the new moon, I would clean your altar and just reconsecrate everything. And by reconsecrate, I just mean set your intention. So it's not anything kind of big and crazy. So we set the space, we cleared, we set the first piece, which is your altar cloth. You do not have to have an altar cloth. It's simply something that I think adds to the element. So if you're working with creativity, you would want an altar cloth that is either black or blue, because those align with the water element. If you are working with manifestation, you might want green. So the other side of this would be, or fertility. And look, So say the other side is very beautiful because it's got butterflies, which is transformation, and green and gold. So those are the colors of healing and of expansion. So colors really hold a frequency just like crystals. So what we're working with is we're bringing in elements that work together to amplify the effect of what you're trying to do. So every element has its corresponding color, its corresponding energy, whether it's in form of a crystal or in the form of candles or incense. So incense would be in the northern quadrant. So north, I know in my house, is here. So that means in this quadrant, I'm going to place something that corresponds to the air element. So what corresponds to the air element? This little brazier, we can put a little charcoal in it, and we can burn incense, we can burn resins and herbs. So we're putting that in the north. Something else that aligns with the northern quadrant, which the quadrant of air in the Aramaic lineage would be a feather. So this is a little smudge feather, and you can also use this to clear your energy. So this I'm also putting in the east. So let's see. And you use your own style, your own way of creating this altar. Now, let's see, what else are we going to use? This would be considered a charging plate. And you notice it has three different, you can tell more from the back, it has three different crystals in it. It has serpentine, it has Shivalingam, and I cannot remember what this one is, but these are all fire element and transformation elements. So that's a symbol of, is that the Shakti? So that's a Shakti symbol. So Shakti is the primal divine feminine force. I normally wouldn't use this symbol simply because I'm not of the Hindu, Vedic, Indian lineage. But so I'm going to use it with the symbol side down. It's the one that is resonating with me at this point. So I'm just going to go with my intuition and just send a little prayer of healing and of please be nice. An element of I'm doing this with reverence and with respect, and I do not mean to disrespect. I do not wish to create amity. I do not wish to create disharmony with this lineage. So again, always say a little prayer if something is calling you, like in this case, this is really calling me, and be respectful. So I'm putting that in the center. So in the center, we really, that can be where you put your intentions in the new moon, where you put it under it, and then you have either a crystal or a candle on top of it. So I know that this is a little overkill, but I love big, huge, beautiful crystals. So I'm going to place that in the center. And whatever intentions I would place under the charging plate and have this. So this looks like it has quartz. So if you are going to use a generator, you want it to have a point like this, because this amplifies the energy upwards and in one direction. So into the heavens, into the celestial planes. This is quartz, green moonstone, and garnierite. So each crystal has its own healing and its own activating frequencies because of, number one, the components that it's made of. So each one has a chemical structure that has certain elements that bring their frequencies to this crystal. And then of course it has the crystalline matrix. Each crystal has its own specific ways that those molecules are arranged. And that's what, on a scientific level, brings the energetic components to the crystal. So I like this one. So we're going to place this one in the center. And we're going to do, let's see, we started with the north, which was air. The south is fire. So this candle is a bit big for my altar, but we're going to place it. Okay, so we're going to rearrange this a little bit. I need a bigger altar table. But for the effects, you understand. This is going to go in the back. I need a bigger altar or a smaller candle. Either one. So the fire element is going to be on the opposite side of the air element. I'm sorry. Air is the north. South is, oh no, south is not the fire. South is water. My apologies. My fire element energy is like wanting to be active. Okay. So, so I do want to mention this. So for a charging plate, you can also use something that is copper, because copper is conductive. You can also use green aventurine, which is a beautiful fertility, creation, manifestation, expansion frequency. It also holds the frequency of spring, and I also attribute it to summer as well. The other charging plate you can use would be selenite, because selenite is pure light. So we are on the water. So north is air, south is water. So I have an aquamarine. Aquamarine is the stone that is associated with clear communication, but also with water, aquamarine. And with the zodiac sign of Pisces, but I think it's also the other zodiac sign, the water signs. So we have our aquamarine piece of raw, and I also have these beautiful shells. And shells are a very divine, feminine, water flow, abundance energy. Remember that Venus Aphrodite, she emerged from the sea in a shell. So that is the south. Now we're going to do the east. So the east is this way. The east is the fire. So we're going to put the candle in the east. And let's see. That means the west is the earth. So basically anything that is earth element would be in the east. I'm sorry, the west. East is fire, west is earth. And also because crystals are an earth element, and because we're working with the energies of fullness, of completion in a sense, of the top of the cycle, which is when the sun, during the summer in the northern hemisphere is when the sun is at its most powerful. I want to amplify the energies of fertility, of abundance, of creation. So for me, I'm choosing a green aventurine, and it's green aventurine with a serpentine at the bottom. So again, those energies of transformation, of fullness, of fertility, of expansion. And we'll put that in the west. And other crystals you can use would be carnelian. Carnelian has a very fiery energy, and because we are talking about the summer solstice, I'm going to place a little carnelian, or a big carnelian. That's a big carnelian heart. So carnelian is, one of my teachers called it kind of like crystal form of caffeine, because it gives you energy. And energy is something that I want to bring into my frequency a bit more. So we're putting the heart, and we actually should put this on the fire side. So I'm going to put that by the candle. Some other crystals we can work with for the fire. Peach moonstone, also it's a lunar stone. It's a lunar stone, but it also activates the sacral chakra, which is the chakra of creation. So for summer, we may want to work with this. Other stones would be heliodor, citrine, yellow fluorite. If it's yellow or reddish yellow, that would be perfect. Let's see if I have any others. This is actually perfect because we're going into Gemini season. So that's a little yellow fluorite B. And yellow fluorite brings abundance. It brings the B frequencies, the frequency, the hums of this also brings in that energy of creation, of the summer, the height of all kinds of expansion. So let's bring that. And because bees are creation, but they're also kind of airy because they fly, I'm going to put this one by the air element. And let's see if I have any others. Well, I don't have any other crystals to put on there, and I also am running out of space. So now we're going to add the elements of the goddess that we align with. So for me, the Black Madonna is a beautiful frequency of healing, of that unconditional love of the mother, of creation, of fertility. She represents the void of creation from which everything stems. So it's that energy of really expanding and coming back into the womb waters of creation and allowing yourself to be reborn. So I'm going to put the Black Madonna right here. And there are different versions of the Black Madonna. And I work a lot with Egyptian energy, with the Hathors, as well as with Isis. So I have this beautiful little alabaster Isis that I love. So I'm going to place her on the other side. And voila. That is your altar. And this altar is all purpose. Now, I do want to add one more element to it. This is the element. So these are calendula flowers. These are also marigold, known as marigold. And they are these brilliant little yellow flowers. And these flowers are very healing if you actually infuse them into jojoba oil or olive oil. They permeate their healing energy. It's not so much energy. Their healing properties, because this is actually a medicinal little herb, and you can use it for wound healing. So if you have a little bit of a cut or a scrape, this infused oil would actually help heal the skin barrier. It's also really good to utilize on your face, diluted with jojoba oil. Jojoba oil has the same composition to your own skin sebum. So if you are a little bit of dry, it may be something good that you want to work with. So I'm going to place some of these little flowers around my centerpiece. And if you would like me to do a video about working with essential oils, which I work with often, please comment and let me know. So that's 4. So 4 is a grounding number, and I'm feeling that 4 is, it's the 4 elements coming into unity. Okay, we're going to go with 5. We're going to go with 5 because 5 is a number of action. It's a number of really forward momentum. 4 is a number that is associated with grounding and stability. So the 5th element, the ether, actually amplifies the grounding. So we're going to bring in energy, we're going to bring in fertility, creation, and the anchoring of those frequencies for the summer solstice. And that is our beautiful little summer solstice altar. I am thinking of doing a ceremony for the summer solstice, so if you would like me to do a ceremony, please comment below, or I will share a link and we'll see who signs up. It would be lovely to actually be in community as we do some sound healing and some movement and some meditation to align us with the frequencies of the summer solstice. If you enjoyed this video, like it, share it, subscribe, all the things that we do. To really comment below, let the algorithm know. As much as I don't particularly like working with algorithms, unfortunately fortunately, this has to do with our expansion. So if you like this video, please comment and bring me a little heart or comment with a question, whatever it is that you feel is beneficial and is loving and helpful and supportive. I really would appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will note, so in the background, I will be going back and playing some beautiful crystal alchemy bowls. think of something that you would like to see me talk about or to see me share how to do it, please let me know. So the last little bit that we want to do is we want to consecrate it. So how do we consecrate it? It is simply our intention. So let's bring our hands to our hearts. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And we're going to do this 2 more times. As you have your eyes closed, envision yourself filled with golden light from the cosmos, divine light. And we're going to rub our palms together. And the intention is that this altar is for our highest good, our highest healing and expansion, our alignment with the energies of the summer solstice, and our alignment with our higher self. So we're going to take a deep inhale, placing our hands over the altar, and exhale. Breathing your breath around the altar. The breath is life. So another deep inhale. And a third one. And you have activated your altar with your sacred intention. So again, use this, light your candle, light your incense, however it is that you want to work with your candle, and have it in a place where you're going to be doing your meditation or your practice, whatever it is that you do to really align with your soul. Make sure you have your little altar close by. Have a blessed rest of your day.